Thanks everybody for coming. We're a small enough group. Why don't we just give me a little sense where you guys are from, if you're using BH Works already, just so I have a little, Steve, or do you want to start us off?
Sure, thank you. Steve Warner, I'm in Westchester Area School District in Westchester, Pennsylvania. And right now we're using this as a universal screener at the secondary level, but we're also using it on an individual level on an as needed basis through our MTSS teams when we see that need arise, almost like a assessor for access to our mental health professionals in the district.
Yeah, great. Pam, what about you?
So we're actually from CompuClaim.
I was going to the other Pam, but
sorry.
No.
I keep forgetting I have a namesake over here.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Pam P.
Yes, there are two of us. I'm Pam Potosic, and I am with Little Tennessee Valley Educational Cooperative, and we are located in the state of Tennessee in the Eastern region, serving multiple school districts. And we partner with CompuClaim for a lot of our services for schools, and are looking to expand significantly on some behavioral health things too.
Okay, great. Someone else want to go?
Cassandra, why don't you go?
Hello, I'm Cassandra Phipps from Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, and I am the Director of Children's Initiative. And I also oversee we have a school success initiative at Detroit Wayne as well. So we have providers that provide therapy in our schools. So I'm glad to be here.
Okay, great.
Cassandra is very active with our Behavioral Health Learning Cooperative of Michigan.
Okay.
She's a rock star. So,
yeah.
So you know.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome. Corinne?
Hi, I am driving, so I'm not going to turn on my video, but I'm from Healthy Communities Partnership. We are out of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. We serve 2 school districts, Franklin and Fulton County, and we do use the BH Works as our screening tool for the student assistance program.
Okay, great.
It's always good to stay safe. Yeah. So Lindsay is with MD Logic. So we're going to go to Kate. Kate works with Steve, but Kate, just introduce yourself, please, and add anything that Steve may have forgotten.
He covered everything beautifully. My name is Kate Coulter. I work with Steve Warner in the Westchester Area School District. Like Steve said, we're using it. We have been using it as a universal screener, and now with individual students as well as kind of a pre and post survey indicator. So we just have a little bit more information. Yeah,
Great. We look forward to I'd love to chat with you guys a little bit more about your work. So this is great. I'm glad there's people using it and people new to it, and it's terrific. I like what Steve is saying. You know, this can be used as a screener in a universal way. It can be used as an individual screen, or in the nursing station to look at kids. It can be used in schools or mental health facilities or primary care, in a range of places. What I'm going to give a little flavor today is the value of using the data as a QI project. We know there's tremendous pressure from insurance companies, licensing board, funding agencies to do quality assurance projects, be looking at our work and seeing, are we accomplishing the kind of goals we want? Are there things that we're missing that we could be looking at more, and ways that we can use this data to kind of help us tell the story of what our agency is trying to accomplish? So, the first, I'm assuming everybody knows this, the software and the screen and the I'm assuming people know the report. Is that true? Should I not assume that? Everybody's seen a report that gets generated out of MD Logic, out of the BHWorks?
I think the only person, and I apologize, Pam, I can't speak for you, but I don't believe Cassandra has seen it. And
Okay.
she can correct me if I'm wrong, but Detroit Wayne, her integrated health network, is not yet using BHWorks. We would hope that they will, but
Okay.
so.
Well, it generates a nice report. I would have brought a copy, but the kid fills it out instantly. A report is generated. You get 4 different domains, urgent, critical things that people have to respond to now: sexual abuse, access to a gun, and suicide. You get a range of psychiatric scales with cutoffs that tell you, not diagnostic, not, you can't use, we say the screen is the beginning of a conversation, not the end of the conversation. So a good trained provider picks that screen up and says, what does this data say? What do these scales tell me? And how do I use the data to inform the interview? It has a list of risk factors, and that also can be used that people should be thinking about. And then it has a section on strengths. So we've tried to help it be of value in that one. That screen can be uploaded into EMR systems. It can be downloaded and sent to referring resources. Those of you using the electronic referral system, and you can use that platform, that function, to send the report to other providers and use it as a collaboration. What we hope is everybody's using the dashboard. So let me ask Steve, are you guys familiar and frequently having your nose in the dashboard and using it?
I would love to get there. Kate and I are new to our roles as of August. So we're very interested in learning more about how to use the data that BHWorks generates.
Okay, so let's do that first. Payne, Marjorie, can you give Payne?
She already did, I think.
Okay, so Payne, why don't you bring up the dashboard? I think it's the first place to start with use of
Actually was just able to find a test report. If you want me to just show that really quick,
Yeah, you could show
just
that.
since you just mentioned it.
Yeah,
So this is just a test student.
So this is what gets generated. Well, actually, Steve, if you're new to it, maybe you haven't seen this as much, but this is how the report comes out as a summary cover page.
So you have the domains, risk behaviors, and then strengths. And then there's demographic questions. And all the other individual questions are below that.
Yeah, it actually gives 2 levels of data. The front page is a summary, and then the back pages are all the items. Because when we were in primary care, doctors said, I want to see the scales, but then I want to go look and see, okay, of the depression items, are they more vegetative? Or are they more cognitive? Or are they what? So we give that so that providers can get into the minutia of things, and very helpful.
All right, do you want me to move to the other one?
Yeah, let's show Steve.
Sorry, I had to reshare it.
Dashboard.
All right, so this is just an example of what your dashboard could look like for screening activity. So you get a breakdown of demographics. We have here the different scores on the BHS. You can get separate scores for significance, and the dashboard can be customized to what you would want on it, which is pretty helpful. And you can also filter it. So if you want to just look at males, if you click on males here, it'll filter all the data by what you want it filtered by, which is super helpful if you're looking for a specific gender or race or significance. The internet's kind of slow here, so there it goes. So now it broke it down to only the males in here.
So Steve, you as an administrator can be looking at this daily, weekly, quarterly, monthly, and what did we see this week? How many did we screen? Which kids, which grade, boys and girls?
And you can also download, say I want to download these scores. You can inspect it, and then it'll let you download it to an Excel or a CSV file if you want to use that for something else. So it gives you the numbers and then the ability to download it, which is nice. And you
So
can do that
does
for any of these boxes.
That is an aggregate report that you're doing?
For so it was this box of right here. It's just the individual scores in that box.
So the truth is, you guys have a built-in data analysis team. You don't have to ship this to me and say, Guy, could you run some analyses and summarize this? You don't have to send it to central office at the school and hope that the data team will. This really great process can aggregate, organize, do a deep dive into particular populations.
Could you go into the date range and show how you would manipulate that, like just to look at 1 month?
Let me see what I can do in this specific data set.
Okay, thank you.
So you can, sorry. For this one, I don't know that I can do that by date range, but normally, so this also has like sessions for another type of data. But if I were to click on this session, it would show up data only for that group of people. It just depends on the data set that you have that you're working with and what is available. You can also choose the type of form, like, so this is data from multiple types of forms, and you could choose that. So obviously the one that I clicked on didn't have any data in it. That's why it went blank. But that's just an example. And it also gives you so the age or the date range of what I clicked on is what this is right here. So the report date. And then you can just, of course, like trash it and it goes right back to the beginning. Oh, there's a date period thing now too. Sorry for my slow computer.
Stephen, I don't know what your contract is with MD Logic, but you can put other measures into this system.
And you can see this breakdown, Steve. This date period, you can just choose all of this.
Okay,
as
great.
well. But yeah, this is super customizable, so you can choose what you want on your dashboard, which is helpful.
No, Dr. Diamond, I'm not aware of our specific platform agreement or level.
Yeah, we can help you sort that out, but how much customizing you can do at your site, kind of dependent on the nature of the contract, but that's easy to sort out. But there's plenty right here, there's not, then, you can see. Payne, show us that report page again on something pretty like depression scores or.
Give me 1 second. I just exited out of it.
While she's looking for that, I just want to note that Dr. Diamond did do a 9-minute video where he describes how they use BHWorks technology from start to finish. And that means consent, screening, referral, care plan, case notes, monitoring, data, and outcomes measures. It's only 9 minutes. It is on our website. We have disseminated that to our current clients, but if you by chance have not yet seen it, obviously please do so. It's terrific when you can have an experienced colleague who can kind of walk you through it.
What part of it did you want me to show?
The report, the way that report data comes out is
like this.
I just
right here.
Move to, I was opening up my thing. No, the summary the summary, the aggregated report, the one page you popped up that said if you wanted to export the data.
Oh, sorry. Let me go back. But that was for an individual pieces of data. That's the only thing.
Individual as in patient?
No, like items. So it was like the
That's
box
okay.
specific. Okay.
Okay.
So I would click onto this and you can inspect it. Well, it's loading.
So you can generate some reports from this. You can also download this data into an Excel file. And the likelihood of someone in your office having that level of skill, and MD Logic can help you figure out that transition process if that's not readily clear. And then you can generate pretty extensive reports. So this is,
I just clicked on race for this
Yeah.
one.
all right. So take this off for a sec. Let me share my screen now for a minute and show the team.
Do you
sort of
need me to
one.
do anything else with this?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, Payne.
So here is
No
an
problem.
application that we're working with, MD Logic and I, at Newport Academy. It's a very large residential facility all over the country. And this is the kind of report we generated for them as a kind of visual end of the year, give it to the board on a summary. And you can see, and TITA makes a lot of these for a lot of the SAP teams as well. So it's a nice sort of summary. And this year, we had 120 outpatient people, almost 600 intakes, inpatient folks. This is the beginning of year one. These are the site. I mean, you can design a page like this any way you want. There are programs and infographic sources that you can. I mean, we just chose and built this. We certainly could give you templates of what we have. We summarize marijuana, outpatient, inpatient, and outpatient. This is a facility has both alcohol and opioid use. We have, here's the scale data. This is actually some of the scales the facility is using, the GAD-7 and the PHQ-9, and the percentage of kids in that facility, in the inpatient systems that are scoring at a threshold, at a cutoff that says depression's a high-risk problem. Here are the BHS scales themselves. So 70% of these 1,000 kids endorse the cutoff for anxiety. I mean, this is an inpatient residential facility. These are very high-end, high-risk kids. Trauma, lifetime history of suicide, 30% going into residential report suicide in the last week. I mean, these are things you would expect. But this could be customized to, if you're doing universal screening, we could help you do a version of this that every year you could say, okay, we screened 600 kids this year. Here's what we're finding. Here's the kind of problems that we're up against. Here's the things we should. And then, what a lot of schools have been doing is taking this kind of data to the school board to say, look, we need more programming around early depression prevention. Look how many kids are struggling, kids that we didn't even know. We need more.
Welcome to BH Works. In this video, we'll go.
Sorry, that was me.
Sorry. Yeah,
I apologize.
that's right. At this facility, we are repeating the measure, because they want to see, they're using it as an outcomes tool. So this is a little bit of what the data might look like. This is intake, day 21, day 35. And for this facility, we're starting to collect discharge data. So we have 1 month, 6 month, and 1 year outcome data. But these are the kind of graphs one can show. These are raw scores on the scales themselves. 23%. They come in on average, they're getting a score of 23 on this depression scale. And when they're leaving, they're getting a score of 8. So it's just a way, and in the schools, you may or may not want to do repeated measures, though you certainly could to monitor progress. But these are some ways you can represent both cross-sectional data at the time of intake and then outcomes data if you're going to repeat it again. At this facility, they did put in their own, they have a patient satisfaction questionnaire, and that is distributed along with the BHS at given time points, and we have summarized that data for them as well. So there's really a lot of the opportunities are only limited by our creativity and time. Any questions about any of that?
So Guy, I did put in the chat, there is a 2-minute training video. BHWorks has training videos posted on the Behavioral Health Learning Collaborative of Pennsylvania. You don't have to be a member to access this particular area. And so if you just want a quick visual, if you use BHWorks for the data, it walks you through how to access the dashboards and do a little bit of what Guy has shown. And then Guy, if you wouldn't mind just commenting, we only have about 4 minutes left, but how, for example, have you used your data in terms of for additional funding, for example?
Yeah. So this data is quite rich for including in both policy statements and requests to district and leadership, but we have used this in numerous grant proposals to demonstrate the need. It demonstrates 2 things. 1, both the need of the population, and 2, our ability to collect this kind of information. So we have paragraphs in all our various grant proposals saying, in the school, in fact, we just submitted a big grant on universal screening to try to study that. I'm going to come to you, Steve, see if you'll be a site for that if we get funded. But we use data from all the sites that have already been doing universal screening to say, these sites were able to screen this many kids, in this cohort, this is the kinds of findings. These are how many kids we sent to the emergency room. This is the, parent satisfaction with the program. And that goes in a grant saying we need more money to keep doing this kind of work. And it's very compelling, shows not only the need, but shows the competency of the organization to be able to mount a project of this nature and go out and get the data. So you really want to be thinking about how to maximize the use of the data, and we're happy to help. We can show you how we've written things up like that up, and through a number of us, we're always looking for new projects and ideas, and happy to collaborate and help with that kind of project.
Mm-hmm. And obviously with our clients in Pennsylvania as well as in Michigan, and Pam, obviously MD Logics would like to come to Tennessee. I know CompuClaim is there already, but through our Behavioral Health Learning Collaborative meetings, so Cassandra attends those, BHWorks can show and demonstrate to you. And if that's something, Steve, that you would like, we can obviously connect with you separately, but we can show the collaboratives different features of MD Logics of our software so that you can better utilize the tool for what your needs are. I think the dashboards are spectacular, but it can be a little overwhelming in terms of so much information that you can gather with them, and it is important. but definitely a very powerful tool in your ability to show where there might be a lack of resources in your area that need to be addressed, or as Guy said, is we need more funding, and here's the reason why. So we have just one more minute. I don't see any other questions unless somebody has their hand up. Pam, is there anything you would like to convey for CompuClaim before we conclude?
Thanks, Marjorie. What I was going to just say to everybody, what we're seeing, with BHWorks and taking this into other states that we're in, California, other state agencies, this reporting is really crucial to funding that you're going to be receiving, especially for anything mental health and behavioral health. So in particular, Pam, getting funding from the state is one piece to help support, but now you're going to need to show the outcomes. And that's where BHWorks comes in and really will help facilitate that connection. So, for anybody in school settings, this is going to be really what we're seeing moving forward.
Well, thanks, Pam. I appreciate that. And Steve, you have your hand up.
I do. Thank you. First off, I do think that the data is very rich, and we have used it in the district to make some new positions and to advocate for our students. And it showed one of our biggest areas of need is really supporting our elementary students. So I was wondering if anything like that, anything like a BHWorks was on the horizon for elementary students.
Well, what we have in place already, and I'm assuming it's in the software function, is a downward extension of the assessment tool that goes down to, I believe, 6, if not 8-year-old kids. So there's a version of the tool for 8 to 12-year-olds. It's a parent report.
And we are utilizing that. I was wondering if there was a student version that they would fill out for that age range, for the elementary cohort.
We that's easy enough to do. In general, asking the standard in the field is by under 11, kids tend to not be great self-reporters. It's just hard to fill out the forms. They're hard to understand the questions. A lot of people who do assessments at that age, put on 5 smiley faces with increasing frowns on them. That it's that kind of thing. So we haven't developed a questionnaire version, self-report for that age kids. We sort of invested in the parent report, but it's a valuable thing and certainly worth thinking about it. But I don't believe we have it right now, unless the Swami could say there are other measures in the library in BHWorks, and it's certainly could be something there. I'd have to look.
Yeah, there are several other measures, Steve. What we can do is, if you would like, we could set up a meeting with Charles or Matt and just go over those measures with you, because there are people using it for younger kids. There's about 150 different measures in BHWorks right now. Do you have a list of those by chance?
I don't believe I do, unless Kate wants to chime in that she may have it. I don't believe I have anything that would indicate what we have that goes down that low.
Right. No, we at this point don't have anything but the parent report down at the elementary level. So if these are, and they would be student reports, but that would be it's a self-report, but it would be an adult sitting with the student doing the report, so, but no, we would be very interested in hearing about any other measures that you have for that age group, and we're not aware of any at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll send you all of our measures, the list of all of our measures, and then I think there are a bunch that will go down. That range depends what you're screening for, but why don't we do that? And that would be the starting point. And then if you feel like here is a measure that I would like, or you would like on the system that is, public measure, then we can definitely put that into our system.
So I did put the link to our assessments in the chat. It is also available on our website. If you go to mdlogics.com and you go specifically to BHWorks, which is our software platform, and on that homepage of BHWorks overview, you'll see the over 140 assessments listed. And this is why it's great to share among colleagues, is Michigan is talking to us about that very same thing. In terms of they, in the future, depending on funding for the state, they may go down to pre-K, not just K. It's not certain yet, but they were asking for the very same reason that they, how do we screen the first graders, second graders, kindergarten and pre-K. So yes, Pam put in the chat as well about Medicaid and what CompuClaim can provide in terms of getting folks paid for Medicaid services. And I want to thank everyone. And again, this is being recorded, so we'll share this for the other 30 some plus who are a part of the series. Dr. Diamond, thank you so much, and Payne, for your time today. Next week's series, as a reminder, the speaker is going to be from Pennsylvania, the Dover school system. Kirsten has done a terrific job on screening, successful screening. Lots of folks in Pennsylvania as well as Michigan are looking at universal screening. And she'll touch on that as well. And so please be there Thursday at 2 p.m. I will send you the meeting link just before, and I will send this recording and any other materials I think that might help you in the next few days. And have a terrific rest of the week. Thanks, everyone.